So, as we've been visiting with you over a number of years, we've been talking to you about how you are the creator of your own reality. And some of you like the sound of that, especially when things are going well. But when things are not going so well, you would clearly like to let someone else have the blame for creating your own reality. Seems like one of those misbehaving people should take more credit for what's going on in your experience. And we want you to know that once you come to the full understanding that everything that is coming to you is coming in response to the vibrational offering that you've got going on. We've been talking to you for a long time about your point of attraction and how the thoughts you think cause you to emit a vibration, and that vibration is then matched by law of attraction, and things that match it come back to you. So it's not just acquaintances or rendezvous with other people. It's rendezvous with circumstances and events. It's rendezvous, timing and rendezvous with all kinds of things. It's even the rendezvous of your own thought, the rendezvous of your own memory, the rendezvous of your own expectation. You have a vibrational basis of attraction going on all the time, which you can change at the drop of a hat. You can change it on a whim. You can change it with small intent or large intent. You have control over what your point of attraction is because you have control over what you focus upon. But you've got to know that you have that control, and we know that for many of you it means you have to know that there's a reason to go to the trouble of it. We play with you because we know that when you get hold of your vibrational output, then you've got control of everything that comes into your experience. And we know that getting control of your vibrational output simply means training yourself bit by bit to thoughts that feel better and better until that's your habit, that's your vibrational habit, until what comes to you comes in response to that better feeling thought and that better feeling thought, until you have this train of better feeling thoughts, until you have this habit of better feeling thoughts. A belief is only a thought you keep thinking, yes? And so you have habits of thought. But for most humans, your habit of thought follows what you are observing. And you have put yourselves into such a wide spectrum of observable things. You have the ability to observe worldwide. You have the ability to observe specifically worldwide. You have the ability to be involved with so many people. You have the ability to know so many specific things about so many specific things that your vibration has the potential of being scattered all over the place. And every time you focus on anything, you set up a vibrational pattern that brings more like it and more like it and more like it, until before you know it, you are surrounded with the evidence of your patterns of thought, and that evidence makes you believe, because there's evidence that things are the way they are. And most are not realizing that things are only the way they are because of your patterns of thought. And you have the ability to develop the pattern of thought that you choose. You do not have to develop your patterns of thought in response to what is around you. We know that if you were observing in general terms, your patterns of thought would serve you extremely well. And the more specific you get as you focus, the more specific the comeback is, the more specific the law of attraction brings details to you. The more specifically you focus, the more specifically things fill in. And so in order to explain this point of attraction, we are talking to you about this vibrational standpoint, this vibrational basis. And we are calling it a vibrational grid. There are lots of words that could be used to explain it. But the point that we really want to establish, the point that we really want you to focus upon, is that you are vibration more than you are anything else. And it is your vibrational offering that causes everything that comes into focus to be. So everything about your body, everything about your acquaintances, everything about the way you move through life, everything about the way everything touches you is about your vibrational offering, over which you have complete control, but usually don't exercise it all that well. Most people are offering most of their vibration in response to what they are observing, and they are not all that particular about what they are observing. So for most, it sort of goes like this. You see something, you have an emotional response to it. That emotional response brings more like it, which you have another emotional response to, which brings more like it, which you have another emotional response to. And these emotional responses are only indicators of vibrational standpoint, vibrational stance. So when you decide that you want to exercise more control over your vibrational standpoint, if we were standing in your physical shoes, the way we would go about it is we would decide that we would approach it from an emotional basis rather than from a thought basis. So as we began here today, we said to you, do you like the way contrast causes you to focus? Now we want to say to you, do you like the way you are able to feel within the contrast that surrounds you? That's a much more productive way of putting it to you. Do you like the way you are able to feel living in the contrast that surrounds you? And if the answer to that is yes, then that means you're focused in a way that you're not contradicting the vibration of who you really are. So you're in alignment much of the time with who you are. So you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and your point of attraction is wonderful because you have the leverage of source energy, you have the leverage of all that you call good right there offering a vibration with you. And when you are in that vibrational patterning, only good things can come to you. Did we get your attention at all about that? Do you know that you can control your point of attraction? Do you know that you can control the way you feel? Well, if you know that, then you know everything. And so you know everything. That's all there is to know. Once you know that, you've got it figured out. Then the rest of it is just exercising the knowledge that you know until you're really sort of good at it. Till you're just sort of kind of good at it. You don't have to be really good at it. You just have to be sort of kind of good at it. Because if you're sort of kind of good at it, then sort of kind of good things keep coming to you. And the more things come that you appreciate, and the more you do appreciate, the more you focus upon those things that you appreciate, then the more you practice that vibrational patterning. So when we talk about your point of attraction, we're talking about all of the things you draw to yourself. Yes. But we're talking about much more than the cars you bring or the money you bring or the physical friends you bring. We're talking about your bringing to yourself, better said, your allowing of yourself, better said, your blending with yourself. You're allowing the blending of who you really are to be present and focused in this time-space reality, in this precise moment in time. So you've got this magnificent guidance system within you that is available to you all day, every day, letting you know what your vibrational habit is in relationship to what you want. So Esther, she was thinking about this during the flight. She realizes that her attention to what is, valid as it is, and justifies as it is. When she sends an email to those people, they take it seriously. When she calls them and tells her something isn't working, they want it to work. They recognize the importance of things being right, that they have purchased, that they have wanted. But there is something more for Esther to know, for all of you to know, beyond calling the repairman, or beyond finding the physical action fix. It is a vibrational fix. It is tending to your own grid. And when you begin to accept that the vibrational fix is the fix you're looking for, that the vibrational fix is the only thing that really matters, so you tend to your grid first. Are you following the idea of the grid? As your life causes you to ask for more, that rocket of desire goes into this vibrational vortex. And the larger part of you becomes the full recipient of what you've asked for. But it's a vibrational version, and you might say, that vibrational version is not what I'm looking for, because that vibrational version is not fleshed out. It's not manifested. I can't yet see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. It's not yet enough. But we want you to understand that if you can feel the vibrational version, your feeling of problem will go away. And when your feeling of problem is no longer pulsing within you, and you are vibrationally equal to what you put into your vortex, now the content of your vortex, this magnificent vibrational vortex, will begin to fill. It will flood into your actualized, manifested reality. At first, as the flow begins, or better said, as you begin to allow the flow because you found a frequency that matches it, ideas flood into your mind. You get really good ideas about things to do, places to go, people to see. All kinds of ideas flood into your experience. You also begin to receive an emotional upliftment because you have achieved vibrational alignment with what's going on in your vortex. Now you're offering no resistance. And in the absence of resistance, you feel wonderful. You're clear-minded. You're euphoric. You feel passion. You feel eagerness. Your appreciation comes easily. You are loved just walking around all over the place, you see. So the vortex, as it floods into your grid, which is what we're calling your point of attraction, and the reason we're calling it a grid is because you create it before it fills in, sort of like building a house. You put the framework up long before you bring the sheetrock for the walls or the rocks or bricks for the exterior. In other words, long before you bring the pretty things into your house, there is a grid. So long before the manifestation begins to reveal itself in all of its explicit details, there is a vibrational grid that is necessary. You must build the structure of beautiful things before beautiful things can fill in. And if you're grouchy or ornery or fearful or sad, if your vibration is one that is different from what you seek, then your grid is still filling in, but it's not filling in from the vortex where all things that you want are. It fills in from the soup that surrounds you. It fills in with people who are not doing a good job. It fills in with things that you do not want. It fills in with traffic congestion. It fills in with confusion in your own mind. It fills in with the things that make you want to complain and criticize. And that's not a bad thing, because in knowing what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do want. But you have enough in your vortex to keep you happily busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. You're really not needing to do a lot of sifting these days in order to identify what you want. It's time for you to get control of your grid. It's time for you to focus yourself into vibrational alignment with emotions that feel good. And that's why your guidance system is so magnificent. It lets you know thought by thought the alignment. You could be feeling pretty good. You could be listening to one of our recordings. You could be sitting in a seminar like this. You could be listening to us rampage, letting you know who you are, expressing to you the laws of the universe, and your vibration would be and is raising, 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 raising. You could have experience. You could go to a concert or put in some magnificent music or go to a movie or visit with a friend. And in your observation of those moments in time, your vibration will raise, 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 raise. And momentarily, you'll have the grid filling in of positive emotion. You'll have the grid filling in of good ideas. But the question is, are you sustaining it, or are you slipping back into old patterns of thought? Do you need someone positive around you to goose you into better emotions? Do you need some stimulation all of the time? And friends, we're not encouraging you to avoid any positive stimulation. We're just saying to you that if you understand the importance of, if you understand the system of, if you understand the vibrational basis of the world in which you live, and then you apply to it your own emotional guidance system, which lets you know in every moment what you're doing with your emotions, what you're doing with your vibration in relationship to what's going on in your vortex. Now you have control of your frequency if you care to focus yourself into alignment. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are coming more and more in every day to the perfection of that which is you. We just want you to know that your perfection will never cease its evolution. And that's what makes us all such delightful, eternal beings. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain stubbornly in the vortex. So good.